All right, welcome back to the channel. Obviously, we're at the track today. Today is Monday. We're gonna be doing a resisted sprint and some unresisted sprint focus session today, developing that 20 to 30 meter mark as we progress towards testing for a new 40-yard dash. As always, thank you for being here. Thanks for watching the channel. I wanted to remind you guys, we are now above 4,000 subscribers. So as we get closer to that 5,000 mark, we're getting closer to releasing that 8-week speed program for you guys, which will be 100% free download. You'll have lifetime access to this program 5 days a week, every single day laid out for you training wise in order to get you to your fastest version. So we need about 960, 70-ish more subscribers in order to release that program. So if you're here for the first time, thanks for stopping by. If you like what you see, subscribe, get yourself a free sprint program and get out onto the track and have some fun. So like I said, today's session, we're gonna be focusing on acceleration, a little bit longer acceleration today, so 20s and 30s. So I'm just about to start my warm up. I'm gonna test out the mic. This is the first time using the mic on the track. I'm gonna see if it kind of works for the session today. Hopefully you guys aren't picking up too much of that fan in the background and the audio is a little bit better. But we're gonna go through the warm up that I like to do for my acceleration days. So I like to start off with my A series. So just an A walk, thinking about just driving the knee up, get good flexion in the hip, stand up tall. And then from an A walk, we go into an A march. So same focus. All we're really trying to do is bring that knee up, keep the foot underneath the knee, and then focus on putting that foot back down into the ground. Very similar to acceleration mechanics, although we're in an upright position. It's more just focused on moving that thigh up and down the same way that we want to see it as we go through the acceleration. So A walk into an A march. Now we're just trying to put more force into the ground on this next one here. And this, I call it the A series because everything is a version of like an A skip. But this A series is something that I did a lot of when I was bobsledding, where the speed coach that I had at the time was real big on doing these drills in order to get mechanically sound when it comes to being able to sprint the most efficient way. So I know a lot of other coaches do things very similar. I know a lot of the Altus coaches do sort of like an A series like this. Les Spellman does an A series like this. So it's not anything that's like proprietary to myself. A lot of coaches take this and use this in their own way. So we went from an A walk to an A march, and now we're gonna do an A switch. An A switch means you wanna see a switch in the thighs. So you're gonna be in your A position here, and as you're bringing this leg down to the ground, you wanna simultaneously bringing the opposite leg up into the A position. So you should be switching those thighs at the exact same time. So switch, 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 switch. So your walk to your march to your switch, just building in a little bit more dynamic movement as we progress through the A series. Switch. So that's called a switch. Now we're gonna move on to a double switch, which means we're gonna switch the legs twice. So what if, let's say my right leg is up in the air, we're going to switch that one time and then two, back to that position. So it's gonna be a double switch. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, which means your right leg is always going to pause at the top before you start that next rep. So we'll do right leg all the way down, and then we'll do left leg all the way down. All right, next drill in the A series is a triple switch. So just like we did with the double switch, you're gonna switch 3 times. So right leg will start up, 1, 2, 3, left leg will be up, 1, 2, 3, right leg will be up, 1, 2, 3, left leg will be up again. From that triple switch, you can progress into a number of different drills that you'd want to do. That right there, I'll do that setup almost every single sprint session that I do, because those drills, not only are they a great warm-up, but they just reinforce mechanics. If I were doing a max velocity session, I would go straight from doing the A drills into doing some more max velocity drills. But since today we're focusing on acceleration, I like to finish off my warm-up focusing a little bit more on acceleration. From that triple switch, what I'm gonna do next is some high knees. So think of it as single switches with no pause. So high knees, you're just thinking about moving the legs back and forth, up and down as quickly as you can. I'm gonna do that again for 10 meters, and then we're gonna move on to some acceleration bounds, and then probably do a couple short starts, something about 10 meters, and then we'll load up the sled and start our first set on today's session. So for the high knees, again, you wanna maintain that A position, drive the foot down to the ground at the same time that the other leg comes up, and then as soon as you feel the ground, you wanna bounce off the ground and continue that switch. So a big thing about these drills is you wanna be reactive off the ground with these. So it's not necessarily about how fast you can go past 10 meters, not necessarily about how fast you can switch your legs back and forth. You wanna feel that you're just popping off the ground and getting that leg back up off the ground as quickly as possible. So we'll do a set of 10 meters now. So the progression from the A series for me would be doing the high knees and then going into an acceleration bound. So we're trying to take that switch feeling with the thighs and just apply more force in a horizontal position now, which is gonna be more specific towards acceleration. And the focus is gonna be just driving that foot into the ground as hard as you can, trying to cover as much ground as you can, almost maintaining that position where your knee is gonna be up, prepared to strike the ground. You wanna over-exaggerate how long you hold that there before switching the thighs and exploding through the next step. So I'll probably do 2, maybe 3 sets on this, hard 10 meters on this. 10 meters on an acceleration bound for me should probably be about 4 steps. You don't need a ton of rest in between these because we're still warming up. So I like to just kind of walk back, reset, do the same thing again. So we'll do 10 meters again on the next one. Only focused on pushing as hard as I can and projecting as horizontal as possible through these bounds. All right, last thing for the warm-up today. We're gonna do a couple 10-meter accelerations, and we're also gonna test out this mic to see how well it stays on my shirt as I'm doing some sprints. So let's see how good a DJI mic is. But the idea here is just do a couple hard accelerations prior to loading up the sled and doing some sled sprints. I don't like to just go straight into a sled. I like to do something a little bit more explosive. A couple 10s here. A little sluggish. Microphone, not too bad. Overall, I'd say it stayed on pretty well. First acceleration felt a little sluggish. Got to get a little bit more pop out of that first couple steps. So today's session, we're going to be doing some 20-meter sled accelerations, 20-meter sprints, 30-meter sled accels, and then 30-meter sprints. Last week, I did 3 reps of 20 with 30 kilos, 2 reps of 30 with 20 kilos. So my initial thought was keep that same setup and then drop the weight down about 5 kilos, because what I wanted to do is just lighten the load up so I can move quicker with the resistance. But I think I'll do that next week. So this week, I'm just gonna flip-flop those. The load of the sled is gonna stay the same, but I'm just gonna do more volume on those 30s versus more volume on the 20s. So I've got the sled loaded up. We got 30 kilos on the sled. We're gonna do 2 reps of 20s, and then we're gonna do 2 20-meter accelerations without the sled, and then we're gonna do 3 reps on the 30s with 20 kilos, and then we're gonna do 3 reps of 30-meter accels without the sled. You know, I'm gonna test this out and put the mic on the cone So microphone on the cone, check, check. All right, 20s are done, 2 reps. They felt decent. So now we're gonna do 2 20-meter accels without the sled. Last week, I timed the last 10 meters of each of my repetitions without the sled. So I'm gonna do the same thing today. I'm gonna do a 20-meter accel, but I'm gonna time from the 10 to the 20 to get what that back half of the 20 is going to be, for no specific reason other than I just time different portions of stuff and try to maintain timing the same thing just to see how similar we are from week to week and what kind of progression and what trend that we're moving in. If I remember correctly, last week my 10 to 20s were like a 115, 114, somewhere around there. So I'm gonna set the timing eyes up and hopefully be able to bust out some 115s or lower. So we'll take a couple minute break here. I'll set up that 10 to 20 timing section. We'll knock out 2 reps. The rest in between every single rep today is about 3 minutes. So I did my first sled accel, rested 3 minutes, did my second one, rest 3 minutes again. I'll do my first 20 meters. So I got about probably a minute-ish, give or take, to get it down. So I'm gonna go set the timing eyes up and then we're gonna knock out that first 20. So rep number 1 was a 114, rep number 2 was a 116. So a 115 average on that, pretty smack dab where we need to be. So I'm gonna take another 3-4 minutes here. We're gonna load up the sled with 20 kilos and we're gonna do some 30s, 3 reps on those. And then we'll do the same thing on the 30s without the sled. We'll put the timing eyes from 20 to 30. We'll do 3 reps on that and see what that last 10 on each of those reps is gonna be. All right, last second there, I called an audible. So what I ended up doing is I did 3 sets of 30-meter accels with the sled. Set number 1, 25 kilos. Set number 2, 20 kilos. Set number 3, 15 kilos. So I don't know why I changed my mind. I just changed my mind. I wanted to see how it went. It felt good. Felt like the reps were quality reps. Got enough resistance on each one to get done what I wanted to get done. And now I'm gonna do 3 30-meter sprints. But I was thinking, all right, I've already changed up today's workout. I'm supposed to do 3 30s with 20 kilos on the sled, did 25, 20, 15. Now I'm supposed to run 3 30s. And I'm thinking to myself, you know, a 40-yard dash is only slightly above 36 meters. So if I'm gonna do 3 30s, 36 meters is really just another 2 hard steps. So why not just run 3 40s today? So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna set the cones up and we're gonna run 3 40s, time each of the 40s and see where we're at. So it's not much different than what I was already doing. Like I said, 30 meters to 36 meters. Once you're at that speed is like another 2 hard steps. So just why not go 2 more hard steps and get some 40 times? So that's the plan. And now we're gonna run 3. So I'm gonna set up the timing eyes and knock out some 40-yard dashes for y'all. All right, first off, apologize. They're doing some maintenance work on the field, so you might have some background noise here. Today's 40s, I'll show you what happened. So I'll give that a second to kind of focus. Hopefully you guys see that. So my last rep was a 438. What happened on the first two, as I ran 455, 456. The 455, I felt way too bunched up, like wasn't getting into my stride, wasn't opening up, wasn't hitting the speeds that I know I can hit. So rep number two, what I did was I wanted to bring down the intensity intentionally to try to get that relaxed feeling back. So that first rep, I felt really bunched up, felt like I was really trying to run hard. Rep number two, I told myself we're gonna go 90% on this, get that relaxed feeling back, and then we'll kick it up a notch on rep number three. So I do my 90% effort and it's a 456. I'm like, okay, that felt considerably easier than the first one, and it was almost identical in time. So that's when I knew, okay, if I take that same relaxed feeling, but put in that high amount of effort, I should be able to drop that pretty considerably from a 456 to a low 44. It was what was in my mind. So I did that. Rep number three, I took off, felt relaxed, but at a high effort, and then dropped to 438. So that being the last rep today. So again, remember we did 2 20s with the sled, 2 20s without the sled. We did 3 30s with the sled, and then we did 2 30s prior to that. So that was rep number 10. To be able to drop a 438 on rep number 10 is a very good sign that things are moving in the right direction. When we get to that day where we're gonna be testing our 40 and we're really only gonna probably do 2 to 3 good reps on that 40, I'm expecting like a mid 4.3 to, like, if I were to put an exact number on it, I'm in my mind 4.35 is what I want to hit. So anything 4.35 or below, I would consider a success for this training cycle. So that's just the idea I got in my mind. If I run a 4.36, am I going to be sad? No, absolutely not. If I run a 4.40, I'll still be excited. But that's just the top end goal that I have for the end of that training cycle is a 4.35. So we'll either do that next week or the week after. So sometime within the next 2 weeks, we'll test that 40, and then we'll make that transition into whatever the next training cycle is going to be. Other than that, today was a great session. Overall, did what we needed to do. We're moving in the right direction. Last week, I think I ran a 4.44 for my fastest 40 for the week. This week, we're at a 4.38 already at the beginning of the week. So we're moving in the right direction. So that's going to be it for today. Appreciate you guys being here. Make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow.